I had always believed my marriage to Claire was strong. We had been together for over a decade, built a home, shared responsibilities, and raised a child together. From the outside, everything seemed perfect. People often commented on how lucky we were, how stable our relationship appeared. But over the past several months, subtle signs began to unsettle me. Late nights, secretive phone calls, unexplained absences, and vague excuses about her whereabouts. At first, I tried to dismiss it as work stress or fatigue, convincing myself that I was overreacting. But deep down, a gnawing fear refused to leave me. Then one day, Claire returned from a vacation, and my world turned upside down. She walked in with a visible pregnancy, a calm expression on her face, and a confidence that immediately set off alarm bells. She sat me down and said words I never expected to hear. She wanted me to adopt this baby, the child of her affair partner. I froze. My mind raced, trying to process the audacity of her statement. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The woman I had trusted, loved, and shared my life with had not only betrayed me emotionally, but now expected me to take responsibility for her actions. Shock, disbelief, anger, and betrayal washed over me in waves. For a moment, I sat in silence, letting the reality sink in. Claire seemed almost proud, as if she had expected me to comply. But beneath the storm of emotions, a cold, calculating clarity began to form. I knew I could not allow her audacity to go unpunished. I could not allow her to manipulate me, my child, or my life. The betrayal demanded consequences, and I was determined to ensure they were severe, permanent, and undeniable. I started by documenting everything. I gathered messages, emails, and evidence of her affair meticulously. Every detail mattered: the dates, the planning, the audacity, and her repeated deception. I knew that undeniable proof would be essential for legal purposes and for creating a foundation for my revenge. It wasn't about vindictiveness for its own sake. It was about reclaiming control and ensuring justice was served. Once I had the evidence, I filed for divorce immediately. Custody arrangements for our existing child were prioritized to ensure stability and emotional security. I could not allow this betrayal to affect my child's life. Financial settlements were calculated not only according to legal obligations, but also reflecting the emotional toll of Claire's actions. She had gambled with trust, loyalty, and family, and she lost completely, but legal action alone wasn't enough. Claire had thought she could manipulate me, impose her will, and continue her life as if nothing had happened. I knew I had to remove her influence entirely. I ghosted her. I moved out with our child, stopped answering her calls, texts, and emails, and cut her out of my life completely. The absence itself became punishment. She had no chance to plead, negotiate, or manipulate her way back. The audacity she had displayed, expecting me to adopt another man's child, crumbled in the silence and distance I created. In the weeks that followed, I focused entirely on rebuilding stability, emotional security, and routine for myself and my child. Friends, family, and a support system became my pillars. I made sure that my child's life remained as normal and secure as possible, despite the chaos. Meanwhile, Claire faced the consequences of her audacity. Her credibility, reputation, and influence over my life were destroyed. Her attempt to manipulate me into raising another man's child failed completely, leaving her exposed, humiliated, and accountable. Reflecting on the ordeal, I realized that true revenge isn't about dramatic confrontations, public humiliation, or shouting. It's about strategy, timing, and reclaiming control. By documenting the affair, filing for divorce, and removing her entirely from my life, I ensured the consequences were swift, undeniable, and permanent. Claire had assumed she could cheat, betray, and manipulate me without repercussion. She was wrong. Over time, I watched her attempts to reach out fail. Emails went unanswered. Calls went ignored. She could see the life she once controlled slipping from her hands, and there was nothing she could do to reverse it. Meanwhile, I reclaimed my dignity, my independence, and my peace of mind. I realized that sometimes the most effective revenge is simply reclaiming your life and refusing to let a cheater continue to manipulate or disrupt it. I also began to reflect on the lessons learned. Trust, once broken, cannot be rebuilt overnight. A relationship built on lies and manipulation is not a relationship, it's a trap. Claire had gambled with our family, our home, and our child's future. Her choices reshaped all of our lives. But through careful, deliberate action, I reclaimed control, authority, and the ability to rebuild a future free from deception. In the end, This story is one of betrayal, calculated revenge, and personal empowerment. A cheating wife believed she could act without consequence, expecting me to adopt another man's child as if it were a reasonable demand. But evidence, legal action, and decisive withdrawal ensured justice. Claire gambled with trust and she lost. The lesson is painfully clear. Betrayal has consequences. Some actions cannot be forgiven or forgotten, and reclaiming control over your life is the ultimate revenge.